Welcome everyone. Today we are looking at a passage from 1 Peter chapter 3 verses 10 to 14. It is easy to think of peace as just the absence of conflict or a state of relaxation. But when we look at the historical context of these verses, we see something much more profound. The early Christians receiving this letter were living in a time of deep hostility and uncertainty. Peter was not writing to them about finding peace in a quiet room, but about cultivating peace in the middle of a storm. He reminds us that peace is not something that happens to us. It is a deliberate, daily practice. As we open this passage, we are going to explore how we can be intentional about our speech, our actions, and our trust, even when our circumstances seem anything but peaceful. Prepared by Geraldino Palmes. Guard your words. Peter writes that if we want to see good days, we must keep our tongues from evil and deceit. Often, we think of guarding our words as simply not lying or not using harsh language, but it goes deeper than that. It is about refusing, quote, conflict-driven speech. Every time we choose to respond to tension with gentle truth, instead of fueling the fire, we create immediate margin for peace to enter the room. To understand the power of this, look at the historical example of the Christmas truce during World War I. In the middle of some of the most horrific warfare in history, enemy soldiers stepped into no man's land. But the peace didn't start with treaties or negotiations. It began with a song. By singing Silent Night across the trenches, they chose peaceful words, and that our first pillar for a peaceful life is to guard your words. Peter instructs us to keep our tongues from evil and deceit. But this isn't just about avoiding lies, it's about active restraint. When we refuse to engage in conflict-driven speech, we create a critical margin for peace that stops tension from spiraling. Think about the Christmas truce during World War I. In the middle of brutal trench warfare, those soldiers didn't find peace through treaties or power. They found it through a choice of words. By singing Silent Night across no man's land, they replaced the noise of hostility with a melody of grace. That is the power of a single choice. This week, let your words be water rather than fuel. Choose to de-escalate and bring peace into the room. Our second pillar, pursue peace, reminds us that peace isn't accidental. It is a deliberate practice. We must actively turn from conflict and extend goodness to others, even when it is uncomfortable. True peace often requires us to step out and bridge divides with grace. Consider Corrie ten Boom, who demonstrated the power of this active pursuit. After surviving a concentration camp, she chose to shake the hand of a former guard in forgiveness. That single, bold step allowed her to experience God's extraordinary peace. May we find similar courage to pursue active reconciliation today. Our third pillar is to trust God's watchful eye, reminding us that we are never invisible to Him. Even in our hardest moments, God's eyes rest on the righteous, and His ears are open to our cries, replacing our anxiety with the assurance that He cares for every detail of our lives. Consider George Muller, who faced a crisis with 300 hungry orphans and empty pantries. Instead of panicking, he chose to pray and give thanks. Before breakfast ended, food arrived unexpectedly. A reminder that when we bring our needs to God in faith, He is already working on our behalf. To summarize, our journey rests on three pillars: restraining our speech, actively pursuing good, and resting secure in God's watchful presence. These are not just separate habits, but a unified framework for navigating conflict. By speaking truth with grace, initiating kindness, and grounding ourselves in prayer, we can maintain a steady heart regardless of our circumstances. Which of these pillars feels most significant for you right now? Whether you need to tame your tongue, bridge a divide, or simply trust that God hears your prayers, choose one to focus on this week. Let's commit to letting God's peace define our responses, rather than allowing the chaos around us to dictate our actions. Sometimes we think that by doing good, we are shielding ourselves from life's difficulties. But the reality is that doing what is right does not guarantee a life free from hardship. Even as we work to guard our tongues and pursue peace, we may still face seasons of tension or trial, and it is important to be honest about that reality. The true promise, however, is an enduring blessing that cannot be shaken. Even if you suffer for doing what is right, you carry something that no circumstance can strip away: the abiding presence of God. That presence is your ultimate security, a constant, steady foundation that stands firm regardless of the chaos or difficulty surrounding you. As we conclude our study of 1 Peter chapter 3 verses 10 to 14, remember that guarding your words, pursuing good, and trusting God's watchful eye is a rhythm for every day. Carry this confidence with you, knowing you are seen, heard, and held by a God who is actively working on your behalf. Thank you for joining me. If this resonated with you, stay tuned for the upcoming videos in this series as we continue exploring practical ways to live out our faith. Go in peace, and may His grace guide your steps until we meet again.